A question we've been getting recently is, what's the deal with appraisals? So I think as homeowners, most of us are familiar with the appraisal process, right? The appraisal is a third party, an objective independent third party sent out by a lender to confirm that the value of the property matches what the buyer is paying for it. That's what an appraisal is for. No one really understands how the appraisal process works, so we thought we'd unpack it real quick. The first thing that you need to know is, how does the appraisal process work? Like, how does an appraiser determine value? And value is composed of a lot of things. Obviously, the location of the property, the size of the property, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, the amenities, the quality of the finishes, how recently was it updated, how smooth and relevant is the floor plan, and some of the lot characteristics. All of that the appraiser takes into consideration and then compares it with what we call comps, or comparable properties. Properties that have recently sold in the market, and the appraiser is just basically going to compare your property, the subject property, with other ones that have recently closed that are similar, and they make adjustments when they're appraising, when they're valuing your property based on whether your property's characteristics are more valuable or less valuable than the other properties, the comps that they're comparing them with. So that's how they find value. What a lot of people have been asking us with right now, which is why I'm bringing this up, is, well, what if there's a gap, right? We've seen home prices go like this for years now at a very steep rate for Cincinnati. What if there's a gap? Well, if there's a gap, the first thing you need to do is call your realtor. So never get involved with selling a house unless you're working with a real estate agent. There's a couple ways to handle this, either when you negotiate your sale with the buyer on the front end, or working with the lender and the appraiser individually on the back end. It's a complicated process. It requires a lot of finesse and should not be handled by anybody else besides a real estate agent. The third thing that some people are asking is, okay, well, if homes sometimes are not appraising because buyers are paying sometimes over asking price, and there may not be a history of recent sales that justify or warrant that higher price that your buyer is paying, should you get an appraisal done before you even start the process? The answer generally there is, in today's market, not really. The appraiser is an expense that the buyer incurs. Also, appraisers use properties that have sold in the past. If you're using past data in order to value a current or a future sale, odds are you're not going to have an appraisal that actually matches your value. It's going to come short. And in addition to that, lenders generally aren't going to use an appraisal that was paid for by the seller, right? They want an independent appraiser that is going to be looking at it on the behalf of the buyer. So that's how appraisers are calculated. If there is a gap, make sure you've got your real estate agent involved. Hopefully that's me. And number three, when it comes to the concept of pre-appraisals, don't do it in today's market. There are markets where it is warranted to do that, but not in the market that we're experiencing today. Hopefully this is helpful. Shoot me a text or an email if you have any questions. I'll see you guys soon.